Good evening. It's weird for me to say that and only say good morning, don't I? Do you think we should have a good evening song too? Yeah, that'd be fun. All right, well, I'm Mrs. Ingram, and tonight I'm going to be playing the role of Emily Brown in our story. And this is Sprinkle. He's Mary Francis's elephant. He's going to play the role of Stanley the rabbit. Okay? And this is Mrs. Rouse. She is going to play the role of
the Queen.
Okay. So tonight's story is called That Rabbit Belongs to Emily Brown by Christina Howell and Neil Layton. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Emily Brown. That's me. And a little rabbit named Stanley. This is Stanley. One day, Emily Brown and Stanley were launching themselves into outer space, looking for life forms. When there was alien life forms, when there was the kitchen door. It was the chief footman to the queen. He said, "The queen has very kindly noticed your rabbit. She would like to have that bunny bunny. In return, she offers this brand new teddy bear." And it was new, and it was just downright horrible. And she said, "No, thank you. This rabbit is not for sale, and his name isn't Bunny Wunny, it's Stanley." And Emily Brown politely shut the door. I'm glad to see she used her good manners. An hour or so later, Emily Brown and Stanley were riding their dirt bikes through the Sahara Desert when there was rat-a-tat-tat at the garden door. It was the army. The captain saluted and said, "Her Most Royal Highness, Queen Gloriana III greets Miss Emily Brown, and she would still like to have that bunny one. In return, she offers her brand new teddy bear and 10 talking dolls that say, 'Mama, Mama.'" Think Emily's going to take that offer?
Nope.
Emily Brown said, "I don't want 10 talking dolls. I want my rabbit. And his name isn't what? Bunny Wunny. It's Stanley." And Emily Brown sent the army away. A little less politely this time. I think she's getting a little irritated. A 2 days later, Emily and Stanley were snorkeling off the Great Barrier Reef. Hello out there. And there was at the garden door. Oh, there's the door. It was the Navy. The Admiral saluted and said, "Her Most Glorious Royalness, Queen Gloriana III greets Miss Emily Brown, and she would like for you to hand over that rabbit at your earliest convenience. She points out that she is the poshest person on the planet, and Bunny Wunny will be much better off with her. In return, she offers you the brand new golden teddy bear, 10 talking dolls that say what? And 50 rocking horses that rock forever." "I don't care who she is," said Emily Brown. "This rabbit belongs to me, and his name isn't Bunny Wunny, it's Stanley." And she sent the Navy away. A few weeks later, Stanley and Emily were climbing through the Amazon rainforest when there was at the garden door. It was the Air Force. The wing commander saluted and said, "Her Excellence, the Most Mighty Queen Gloriana III greets Miss Emily Brown, and she says she must have that bunny bunny right now, or she will not answer for the consequences. In return, she will give her a brand new golden teddy bear, 10 talking dolls that say, 'Mama, Mama,' and 50 rocking horses that rock forever, and, are you ready for this? All the toys that she could ever desire." Would that be tempting? Any toys and all the toys she's ever wanted?
No.
Yes,
Special, don't let her know.
Now, Emily Brown was fed up. She sent the Air Force away away, and she pinned a big notice on the garden gate that read, "This rabbit is not for sale, and his name is not It's signed Emily Brown." A few months later, Emily Brown and Stanley were fast asleep in bed, dreaming of the adventures that would happen next day, when there was absolutely no noise at the door or the gate or the window. Special commands. Stole the rabbit that belonged to Emily Brown. When Emily Brown woke up the next morning, for the first time in her lifetime, there was no Stanley! Emily Brown was so cross, she knew just what had happened, and she marched straight out to the palace on the hill, and she knocked on that naughty queen's front door. Emily Brown ran into the palace, and there was that naughty queen, crying like a baby. And the first thing she said was,
"Oh, thank goodness you've come, Emily Brown. There's something wrong with Bunny One."
and there indeed was something wrong with Stanley. The queen had put him in the royal washing machine all night long, and she turned him pink. Do you see that? And the royal dressmakers had stuffed him stiff, fixed his mouth, and he wasn't even smiling anymore. And worst of all, he wasn't flippy-floppy anymore. Stanley was miserable. Do you see how stiff and miserable he looks?
"Oh, Emily Brown, is there anything you can do?"
Well, there certainly is. I shall take Stanley home. The queen started crying harder than ever.
"I have all the nice toys in the world, but no one as nice as Stanley."
Well, Emily Brown started feeling a little bit sorry for that silly thing. So she went to the royal toy cupboard, and she took that teddy bear and put it in her lap. And then she whispered in the queen's ear so that no one else could hear. "If you take this brand new teddy bear and you play with him all day, and you sleep with him very tightly at night, and hold him very, very tight all the time, and have lots of adventures with him, soon, maybe one day, you will wake up with a real toy of your very own." And Emily and Stanley went home. That was the last Emily and Stanley heard from that silly naughty queen for quite some time. But one day, a couple of months later, as Emily and Stanley were exploring the outermost regions of the Milky Way, they heard a rat-a-tat-tat. It was the mailman with a letter from Emily Brown. And it just said, what? You think she made her real toy of her own? Yes. Well, I wanted to show you. Do you see, as I told you, these are my Mary Frances' elephants. Can you see how this one is a little pinker? Do you know why he's pinker? Because this is the one she loves the most. This one's really been washed more, but when I think in the story when Stanley got clean, he turned pink, so that's what happened. So, for you to remember our